Hey guys, I'm Danielle from empoweredreadings.com. Today we're going to do a past life reading. So I'm expecting maybe some karmic lessons to come up. I'm only really interested in seeing past lives that are going to be affecting you in some way in this lifetime. So the best way to see if you've chosen the right pile for you, or the one that resonates with you, is going to be if when I'll try my best to explain what it will look like to have had that past life and the blocks you would have in this one. And if that doesn't resonate, then it might be a good sign that that might not be the right pile for you. I do think I'll do a reading like this again, so if there isn't a pile that catches your eye or you feel drawn to, don't worry about it. Yeah, I do think I'll do another one like this. Probably not anytime soon, but definitely again. So anyways, if you guys do know how to pick a pile, then you can go to the pile selection timestamp in the description box below. If you don't, I'll just give you a quick explanation on how to do that. Just on the note of cats. So I started this, I was like, alright, I gotta try to keep all the cats out of the videos. But then I realized, you know what? These are free card reading videos. It doesn't matter if they crash a free card reading video. So I believe in this video, a couple different piles got to witness some cats coming in. I figured if anything, look at that, right on cue. Maybe bring a little smile to you guys. I could also be biased because I think they're so cute. But anyways, that's the story about the cats. What I like to get people to do before you pick a pile is you're gonna take 4 deep breaths to ground yourself. And when you do your deep breaths, you're gonna be focusing on breathing in air from above your head, down to your core, through your nose. And then when you're exhaling, you're gonna release it through your mouth. And try not to force the air out. I find a lot of times we'll take the time to breathe in slowly, but then we're just pushing the air out as quickly as possible. So I always say do it 4 times because I think by then we have taken enough air in to actually be more grounded and not out of breath. Okay, yeah, and then from there, you're going to just take a look at the piles. If there's a crystal on top that really catches your eye, go for that one. If there's just something about that deck, even though they all have the same cards, catches your eye, like that's great. That's like your intuition saying choose that one. Sometimes it helps to like look in the description box, the timestamps, and maybe one of the numbers catches your eyes. You can go for that one. Yeah, and then sometimes people are drawn to more than one pile. It's totally okay. It is a general reading, so I would usually say I wouldn't pick more than 2 piles. But yeah, it's totally up to you. Whatever you feel called to do. Yeah, so go ahead and take your 4 deep breaths and then look at all the cards and choose the pile that you think is going to be the right one for you. I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile 1. You guys chose Rainbow Obsidian. All right. We have a lot of cards for this pile. Kept asking for fewer, but obviously there's a lot they wanted you to know, so here we go. Got the Crossing, Stranger, Eye of the Needle, Skywriting, Finances, Father, Farm, Enchantment, Children, Sleep, Stretch. Laughter is the best medicine. Sending. You're more likely to admit. Okay, and then we've got just a few more cards here. Okay. So the first thing that's jumping out to me here is this Stranger Curiosity card, the Thief, Lord of the Forest, and Finances. There's definitely just like, I really feel like in this past life, you pile one were people who lived in the forest most of the time. I want to say it's like that era where people are still living in like hay huts and things like that. And there's lots of civil wars going on around those areas. I can't quite say where it is. I don't think it is America. Here it says American Civil War, but I don't think it's there. I think it's somewhere in Europe or the UK, something like that. But I just see this image of you guys being really peaceful in the forest, but the forest isn't that safe back then. There's always like your enemies lurking around the corner, or people trying to steal from you. Yeah, but you definitely spent most of your time in these forested places. I kind of get the impression that you were a little bit sassy, I want to say. Like your personality trait was to go against a bit of the authority. In this lifetime, it was like you yourself knew that it was just a matter of time before your luck ran out or something like that. Like it's just such harsh times to live in and such hard times to survive that, yeah, it was just a fate that you were waiting. And then the lesson in this lifetime for you guys is balance. And I almost feel like this lifetime, this guy's curiosity to see how far he could push the limits or how far he can push himself, anything around just going over and far past what anyone else does. Like most people are like, oh, I'd be so exhausted if I did that, or wow, you could have died. It's like asking, like the lesson from this lifetime that you were supposed to learn was to have balance there, understanding your limits, when you need to rest, when it's safe, when it's not safe. Yeah, it's almost like you need to, you could still be struggling a little bit with that balance. And also I feel like the balance of doing and being, which is the masculine and feminine energy, where in this lifetime you're very masculine energy focused, where it's like do, and now it's more important to find that balance of it's okay just to be sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's definitely just one. I didn't really know what to expect, but there's a few different past lives coming up here. Okay, pile one. The other past life that I'm picking up on right away is around a farmer and the father. I believe that if you chose this pile, you are either someone who was a father and lost an infant child, or you are, I want to say, a seamstress or the wife of this kind of man where he lost an infant child. In both cases, he lost an infant child. The seamstress woman energy, I feel like you might have been like a second wife, or like he was widowed, or something just happened to the first wife, because I don't feel like you suffered the loss of a child, but you suffered traumas through being married to this man after he had lost this child. So if you're the woman in this life, you would probably be dealing with an issue where you would attract men who were verbally abusive and emotionally distant, and were a bit of a control freak around you or towards you. And if you're like, why does any of this matter? It would say that in this lifetime, you could be reincarnated with similar personality types. It doesn't have to be a male, it could be a female, it could be a parent for you, or just another partner, sibling, a really close friend, something around that, where you attract in people who are verbally abusive, who try to kind of control you or manipulate you a little bit, or try to just tell you what you should do with your life. And the lesson is just for you to learn boundaries for yourself and to take back your power and take back your control. It's a karmic lesson for sure. And I think that's just why it's coming up in a past life reading, is a lot of our karma comes from past lives and what our souls want us to learn how to overcome or develop qualities or boundaries with people. And I think, unfortunately, that's just the lesson your soul really wants you to learn and take charge of. So if that doesn't resonate with you and what's happening, there is the farmer energy, where if you were the specifically male figure who lost an infant child in this, I want to say it would be like 100 years ago or 80 years ago. I think for you guys, it would have been a very recent past life. And it could even been like your most recent one. Like the last one you had, sorry, is what I mean. And it's just, it's like your soul's original idea in experiencing that was that it wanted you to learn to overcome even the hardest obstacles and like have a higher understanding of life and the importance of enjoyment and love. But unfortunately, when our souls aren't in a human body, they don't understand how hard it is to learn lessons like that. They don't get why we don't figure it out until they come into this life, into the human body, and go, wow, that's a lot of pain, that's a lot of heartache. We can't just always learn it the first try. So it gave you that experience hoping it would enlighten you, but instead in this lifetime, you kind of like distanced yourself from everyone else. I feel like you had some soul loss from this, so you might have been just in so much pain, and that you were probably yelling a lot and angry with people often. You're just very guarded and very on the defensive, which is all very understandable for loss. But I think in that time, in that era, people just kind of expected you to be a man and get over it. So I do think, unfortunately, your other close relationships suffered. I think you were just very verbally aggressive with the people close to you, and that was just something that was a result of your pain. And then I think when you went to pass on, I think your soul was looking for this infant child of yours, kind of during the crossover side. So I'm not sure if this is true for all of you, but I think for some of you for sure, you almost like, I don't want to say wasted a lot of time, but were in this limbo for a lot of time because you didn't want to cross over until you found this infant child and were reconnected with them, because your soul had just been so desperate for that child during its whole time on earth. And then eventually you crossed over and everything made sense because the child had crossed over and wasn't in the limbo. So you're kind of just looking in the wrong place, unfortunately. And I think it took a long time from there for your soul to heal from this, because it was a really hard life for your soul in this lifetime. So it took a long time to just feel healed up enough to come back into this life. And then that brings me to the karma for this one. Is I feel like you have a parent that is very verbally and emotionally abusive. And the reasoning for that is it's just to balance out karma. And it's saying, like, just you living this life, it's now cleared and balanced. Your soul didn't feel okay about how that went in the last lifetime. And so it sounds like a very strange thing to be like, yes, this is probably why. But it's like it could even be with like your spouse or your other children in that lifetime that you decided to reincarnate with them as the parent figure so that it could be balanced. But that also being said, living, just having grown up in that, means that it's cleared. You do not need to keep tolerating that relationship or that abuse. There is like a call to set clear boundaries with this person and to make sure you take back your power, because if you don't do this, then you're just going to start going this weird karmic cycle where your soul now wants balance, so it will reincarnate as the father figure or the brother, and it will be the abuser, and then vice versa for cycles and cycles. So it's just calling you, like, you're actually the very start of this cycle, setting boundaries in this lifetime and finding forgiveness, not excusing them, but finding forgiveness and acceptance with this yourself, that this is just part of your soul's journey, is going to just nip that whole unnecessary cycle from happening. Because obviously, I'm sure a lot of you are just horrified by the idea of thinking that you would ever be the abuser. And it's just saying, yeah, it doesn't need to happen. But because this soul now, once it passes away and reincarnates, is going to be horrified that it did this to you, didn't learn. It's just like we're all these guilty feeling souls who want to go, okay, you just abused me for a bit, and then we'll be equal. Then it won't be so bad. But as you can see, like, that just sounds like a mess. It doesn't sound healthy at all. So I feel like some of you have asked, like, why do I have a parent that's like this? Why would I ever choose this? And it's just saying, like, it was just a little bit of karma that your soul didn't feel good about not having balanced out. But it is served and it is balanced. So no need to worry about that other than the obviously having to deal with the healing of it, which I'm sorry, that is never easy. So another sign that maybe, because it's always hard with past life energy to know if it's yours sometimes, if you find that you are often distancing yourself from communities or people, or you always feel like the outcast, if you find it weirdly, like, if you find it hard to trust other people and you don't really know why, if you have like this extreme fear of everyone you know just dying, I think that would come from this past life where you lost a child and you would just have a really hard time on a soul level feeling like that couldn't happen again. But that is in that lifetime, it's not in this one. Trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that would be a good sign about if that is a message for you or not. Okay, what else? Yeah, also sorry, if you guys saw on the camera, it says we are more alike than I admit. I think that's for you who don't understand why this parent of yours is so abusive or is so harsh or mean. It's just this is not saying that you in this lifetime are the same person. To me, it's really saying like it did come from a karmic lesson, and it was just something that had to happen so that your soul was okay with feeling the balance. Yeah, like I just want to stress again that that does not mean that you are in any way deserving of putting up with poor or unkind behavior. That is not okay. You shouldn't stand for it. It is important to set boundaries. Okay, and I did pull a card for everyone's love life and what that was like for them in their past lives. And I feel like for this pile, your relationships or marriages in the past lives weren't necessarily healthy or um, exactly like the greatest relationships that one would hope for in this lifetime, but it will be a option for you in this lifetime. Like it's almost saying that a lot of the things you went through in your past life was getting you ready to be able to be in a healthier, happier relationship in this lifetime. Like you've already experienced a lot of negativity there. Hopefully your soul has learned most of the lessons, and it's like it's in the arrangements and in the agreements in this lifetime to have a good partnership or a love life with a partner. There is just some healing messages here where it's saying like sometimes you guys take life too seriously, and just to remind yourself that don't get too caught up in the drama or the chaos of what's happening. Like if you see it from a third perspective, sometimes like the craziest situations can be funny. Just I guess I'm just thinking sometimes I've seen someone just thinking I insulted them so deeply and are like they're yelling at you, and then they're so intense, and then sometimes you just end up laughing a little bit because you're like, how the heck did you get that out of that meeting? Like, I didn't mean anything to do with that. And I don't necessarily think it's saying to laugh at these people, but I think it's almost like saying, like, maybe instead of coming from a place of reacting back, like, what, like, taking it as an offense, maybe just like find a little bit of the humor in thinking and like in the fact that someone thought all that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that will make sense to everyone, but I feel like a lot of you deal with maybe some very emotional, high strung kind of energies, and they're saying just laugh it off a little. Um, don't take it so seriously or so personally because it's just a misunderstanding, and usually it's like what they're thinking is not true at all, and it can just be explained away. Yeah, don't get too caught up in the little details. And then it says stretching, um, motivation, and taking excellent care of yourself. So, just meaning maybe some of you have a hard time prioritizing yourselves, and maybe you just go to work and you just crush all your work, and then you go home and then you sleep, but then you're always like, oh, I haven't been feeling very good, my body's starting to get sore or achy. It's just saying like just take time to even just if you only took like a 10-minute little stretch break, like that's really good. You're just starting somewhere, you're getting your body moving, and you're just acknowledging it for at least 10 minutes that day. Obviously you want to hope for better, but they're going to start with small steps because that's already a huge change. Um, and then good night's sleep. I feel like a lot of you could have a little bit of insomnia, or I just get that you guys are just so busy, or you feel like you just have so much to do that you might not be sleeping very good. And it just says that Archangel Raphael, thank him for helping you to relax and sleep deeply. Know that you are guided and being healed and protected while you sleep. Yeah, so a few other things to help. Maybe if you're having a hard time sleeping at night,
I would maybe suggest doing like a little, I know they can do like 10 or 15-minute meditation videos on YouTube about maybe just calming your brain and like clearing your chakras or grounding yourself before you go to sleep. I think that would help your brains turn off a bit or just your body relax a little bit enough that might help with you being able to fall asleep. I also think if you're open to it, if you buy a smoky quartz single point and then you have it at the end of your bed and the point is pointing away from you, I think that would help clear your energies and ground you more as you're sleeping. I do think the meditation one would help for the initial falling asleep, but I think the smoky quartz points would help you stay asleep. Um, yeah, and then just be clearing you. You do have to clear that crystal though, occasionally, so you just need to sage it. Or I think those ones you can even just wash with water or run underwater. But yeah, usually if you're using it to clear you as you're sleeping, it does clear a lot of stuff from you and they need to be cleared themselves. Okay, try to see if there's any other messages here. Okay, just looking at this card here, I think like if some of you have been wondering if you should start jogging or running, um, that you should go on that. You should follow your intuition there and do it. It's like saying that when you run, it's like almost a form of meditation for you, and you might find that your mind is clearer, you're calmer, everything kind of makes more sense. And it seems really funny to say that you'll be more relaxed as you're running. Um, but I think it will relax you on the mental level. And like in the long term, I think it's going to allow you to, I want to say the words be more chill. But that's not like the greatest words to say. Um, it's going to like help you think in a clearer way and in a less like anxious or must get things done way. And I think you're just going to really like mature through that, which is kind of a strange thing to say about a physical sport affecting you so much on a emotional level. Uh, but yeah, I think it's gonna be really good for you guys there. Okay, and then I think some of you might be struggling with this energy, and I think it would come from scarcity living in your past lives, with the finance card there. But it's almost like you're you're like so driven to more than survive, but like to be at the top of the food chain, um, to like make it to the top of the like the social hierarchy. And you're almost like prepared to do it at any cost. This might not be all of you, but it's like I feel like it's really being fun, like coming from a place of this past life scarcity of not, I think it almost might even been like not being seen as valuable in society and also not having enough to just take care of your basic needs. And it's kind of like a bit of a tricky energy because I think sometimes you might get too caught up in um I'm trying to find the right way to say this. Like it's saying like it might be a bit of greed there. Like you might actually be really successful now, but you might be over pushing it to just make sure you're at the very top. I don't know if that's really quite making sense. It's like, yeah, I'm not too sure, but I just keep getting the word greed. And I don't think there's anything wrong with aspiring to do the best that you can. But I wonder if the way sometimes a few of you go about this, it cannot be paying attention to how you're treating others. Like, there's a difference between doing the best you can and getting there versus maybe like talking trash about someone else so that you get their position. I don't know if that's probably not an exact situation, but it's something around that. Like there's still like an honorable way to push limits. And I feel like for you guys, you do pretty good, but then they're just saying that sometimes this scarcity mindset can maybe like come in, and then maybe you get too caught up in the drama or something around that. Um, yeah, that message is not going to be for everyone, obviously. It is just a general reading. Um, but there is a little bit of that energy here for someone to hear. And then for some of you too, I feel like a lot of you have actually had a huge issue with trying to understand like God or like your spiritual journey. Like you're very conflicted. You feel like you can never really get to the top of this. Like you almost want people to just tell you what is the truth. You want the evidence and then you'll accept it and believe it. But it's just calling you to remember that it is a journey. You're here for this whole lifetime to just ascend to different spiritual levels, like whether like whatever that looks like to you. It could be that you always stay in the way one belief system. It could be that you're slowly growing consciousness. It's just saying there is no one true religion that you are gonna just figure out and have evidence against. Like it's a journey. And then for some of you who have been struggling, sorry, these two cards, with this parent or these people, it could be like that woman energy with needing to learn how to set boundaries and stand up for themselves. They're just saying that there could be a person in your life that needs boundaries to be set with, and what they look like is someone who kind of always has like an excuse to why they can't do something, and in some ways it seems like a good reason, like, oh, they're just got like a sore aching back or knee or toe or something like that, and if you could just like do them the favor and go run their errands for them or get their groceries or I don't know, wash their dishes. They're just saying like this person um is in some ways taking advantage of you. And it's important that you just start by taking baby steps to establish some boundaries there. And it could just look like if they say, hey, can you go like cross town and pick up some milk for me? I really like the milk from this store or something, something like that. You can just say, no, sorry, I don't have time right now. Um, uh, like, I'm sorry, just like that's good enough. You don't need to have a whole reason why you can't. It's just like an unfair thing to ask of you. Your time is valuable. I think some of you are in like a strange relationship like that where this person has like all the worst things in the world happening to them, and they just need you to do this one little thing and it'll just make everything better. But it's like always one little thing and there's always something wrong. Uh, yeah. It's not great. That's like a lesson for you to set boundaries and respect your own time and yourself and energy a little bit more. Um, yeah, and it's just interesting that it's following up with this card here because it just calls for you to take a stand for yourself and to be more assertive because it's like it's all about masculine energy versus the feminine and how the feminine can be very compassionate and nurturing, but this one's saying it's time to go into the masculine energy a little bit and take action and assert, like, I would say, your stance on these things with this person where they're always just like trying to convince you to do a little bit more for them, or how like I feel like some of them might even like maybe change things and say like, oh well, you must not like me anymore because you don't want to do this. It's just saying no, that's kind of inappropriate. You have done more than enough for them, and it's time that you put more time into you. Okay, I do see a lot of this number 17. You have it twice. So you guys might want to just look into what does the spiritual number of 17 mean, and that might resonate with you all. Or you can do what does the angel number 17 mean? I think that one would also be good, whatever one resonates more with you. Yeah. So this card here does call you to kind of take a moment to reflect on what you want in your life, or want for yourself right now, or what your priorities are, and just kind of cut out all the extra stuff that is not serving you. Like if you want to, say, get a master's degree in something, to look at all the habits or all the activities that you're doing that are taking you away from completing that or being successful at that. It doesn't have to be that example, but around that idea, if you write down, I think it'd be good to actually do it as like a visual thing where you write down what it is you want and then the things that you're doing, and then see how they do align or do not align with you, and which ones are going to get you there faster. I think that also might help with realizing maybe if you're giving too much energy or time to certain people who don't necessarily deserve it. Yeah, Okay. I think that's all the messages I have for you guys. They were kind of all over the place. But I do recommend that you look up the number 17 and see what it means to you, and if it gives you any answers or validations about your current situations. And I hope that I didn't give you any more things to worry about. I hope I just gave you clarification on maybe why some of these experiences are in your life right now, or maybe why some of these things have happened. It's just some karmic choices that your soul had already agreed on before coming in. But for a lot of them, looking at them, you guys are kind of in the life now where you're changing them or letting them go. So that's actually really good to see, that it doesn't have to be something that goes on forever or goes throughout your whole life. You have the opportunity right now to change that and clear it. Yeah, okay. Well, you guys have a good day, and I'll see you around.
Hey guys, nice to see you again. I hope your readings went well. I just wanted to let you know that I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page where I release information once a week about just spiritual information that could help you out. Yeah, and if not, I'd appreciate it if you liked or left a comment on my videos so I know your thoughts, if it resonated, what you'd like more of, what you'd like less of. And that's all I've got to say about that. So anyways, you guys have a good one, and hopefully see you guys around.
Okay, pile 2, you guys chose the amethyst cluster. Let's see what you got. Past life that I'm picking up on here feels kind of like Marie Antoinette era. I don't know if it actually is in France, Europe, like the Mediterranean area. Um, but it's going to be interesting. I feel like a lot of you are going to be a little bit confused. I feel like in this lifetime that this happened in, you were ladies. You can be a man now, but I think it was very female related injury where it was a wounding with the feminine. Um, I think it was one of your first times reincarnating on this earth, on this planet. And it was kind of a shock. Like, I feel like this soul piece had this really great friendship with a bunch of women and thought it was very trusting and safe and okay and accepting. And then within this relationship, this friendship with these ladies, there was like a betrayal where one, like, you did something for the era that wasn't necessarily okay for a female to do, and you thought this friendship was safe, and they, I think, basically got you killed for it, or got you outcasted for it, or you just had a very, very large repercussion for this friendship and this trust. Yeah, and then I also see layered on that, there's this other one where it could have been the same lifetime, but I feel like it was just another reincarnation where you were a female not of the social class, like a higher social class, and you were quite attractive and beautiful and quite desired by, I think, a lot of the higher class men. And the women there, once again, were very harsh to you. Like, I think they might have like called you a witch or done something of that equivalent where it got you taken to the gallows, set on fire, or even I feel like I could see some of you got like your tongues cut or something like that in that lifetime. And it just reinforced that woman wounding, like that female wounding, where in this lifetime, how that would come across as, I think you would be quite introverted. I think you might not trust females. You might not trust people in general, but I think on a deeper level, it's like a harder time connecting with women or feeling a little bit nervous around them for reasons you don't really know. And that's for men or women in this lifetime. Yeah, I feel like you just naturally want to stay away from, I want to say, like, kind of like preppy, uh, girls, like the girls who, if you see that they have a lot of friends with other females, like, it almost makes you more uncomfortable to be friends with that female or have any interaction with that female, because it's just like triggering this past life block that happened on several different occasions, at least twice that I can see here, but I'm sure it probably happened more than that. This is just kind of calling you to take steps in this lifetime to break that belief system. Obviously, you're not just going to go out and feel like you can talk and trust everyone and feel safe around everyone, but it's just saying, if you could just start going out and have like a very friendly conversation with someone at a grocery store or a coffee shop, or like maybe you have a pet and you're walking them and you have a little interaction there, like they're just saying to just start by taking those small steps would be a good start. Like a start where it's safe enough, it's not too much time, and you don't have to necessarily see them again or very often. Yeah, it's just like really trying to work on your trusting, like a trusting wound with others. And when I saw this forgiveness card right away, I felt like it's actually something around you having to forgive yourself, for having trusted others who misused you, or misused your trust, and to know that it isn't your fault, or it wasn't your fault for trusting them. You aren't supposed to go through this life carrying everything yourself, and it wasn't just like a moment of weakness or just not like not being strong enough or something like that. Like, you are supposed to be able to have support systems where you share things and they aren't used against you. But now it is just like, I feel like you're too good at like not trusting anyone. They're saying you need balance because yes, there are people out there you shouldn't trust, but there are also people out there that you can. And it's just finding the harmony and the balance and knowing that there are safe relationships out there for you. That being said, I saw this empty well card, and it says that you could be pursuing, it could be a friendship, it could be career or a relationship where you've kind of want to keep seeing if it works, how it goes. Like if you just hang in there, maybe it will get better. But it's saying like the situation is how it's always going to be. How you're seeing it now is the most it can offer you, and it's like a dried out well. Like it's just not able to give you what you're wanting, and it might be time for you to step away. And I really feel like for some people that will be career, and for some of you, I think it might be a relationship that you're trying to. I don't think it's like a long time you've been in this relationship. It's like a newer one where there's been a few like hopeful moments, but I just think in the long run, they don't have any more to offer you than what you're seeing right now. And you can keep pushing it, but you're just going to have to deal with these issues again and again. And just going to this friendship thing, it's saying that you can find people who will be more like you, more like your soul who is not from like the human soul. It finds that humans are quite violent or hard to understand. You're not the only one here that thinks that, and that there are other people who feel the same way as you do. Like, how can someone possibly do that? Like, this is so physically violent. People are like sociopaths. Uh, just this whole aspect that you can't understand about the human soul. Um, there are lots here, and they said that you can find them in numerous places. Like they're all trying to seek out other people like you because they too feel alone and isolated and not totally understood. And I feel like you can find them at like, I want to say sci-fi conventions or comic book stores or people who are really attracted to the underwater realm, because it feels more homely to them. Like scuba diving, people who love snorkeling. I think it's like more the people who want to go in the water, not the people who want to stay above it. Uh, and then spiritual classes will be really good because there'll be people who have an awareness of something else out there or the possibility of something else out there. Are usually star beings because they just seem to be a little more reincarnated naturally with a more spiritually open mind. So you could maybe go to like a Reiki class or just like an introductory course around some form of energy healing or shamanic journeying. Um, yeah, I hope that gives you some ideas because I feel like some of you are like, I just don't know where to find people like me. And they're saying, try looking in these places. It doesn't mean everyone you meet there will be like that, but they also do say a lot of star seeds are socially awkward. That's also like a good start that you can recognize that because they're just not from here. They just don't quite fit in and they feel that and it makes them feel a bit awkward. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. Um, hmm. And there is a message, and it's funny, they don't actually talk that much about past life here. It's more like there's this block around not feeling accepted in society, but then they have a lot of advice here on what you're supposed to be learning in this lifetime because of that past life block. So that's good. It's really centered strongly around friendships and forming friendships and trusting relationships. Um, yeah, and there's this other thing about trusting yourself. So that also might have been a bit of a wound when you thought you knew who was around you, and you might even feel like I can't even trust my own judgment. Um, but you can. Like you need to be okay with trusting yourself because you got at least to trust you out in this world. Like, if you don't trust anybody else, it's gonna be pretty hard to feel like you can get through life. And yeah, so this card here and this one here actually are both calling you to kind of like take some time to figure out what it is that you want. What is your soul desiring? What is it want from life? And I feel like it could even be on a partnership level, like deciding if you want a partner or not, um, and what kind of partnership you do want, and like what your standards are for that partnership. And it's just really telling you, like, I feel like some of you might think like what you're wanting at the core level is unattainable or something that's not possible. And it's saying just take the time to reflect on it and just really see, like, is what you're asking for unrealistic or possible? And I think a lot of you are going to find that it is possible, but you just need to set up these small action steps on how to get there. Yeah, I feel like you guys might be really connected to animals. And I feel like you're very compassionate and gentle people. And it's saying to remember to use that as a gift. Like, your existence here, just your compassion for living things and people, and just maybe even flowers or something, like not to step on them, or that is changing the world. It is shifting the energies here. It's like, it's almost like you're not sure if even being here in this life makes a difference or affects anything. And they're saying the harshness that you feel this earth is filled with is being shifted by people like you who just existing bring more compassion and gentleness to this universe. Even if you don't feel like that's true, it is creating change around you, even in the most minuscule ways. Do you think that this pile is very non-confrontational people? Like, I really feel like your mantra could be like, you just want everyone to love each other and everyone to get along. You don't see why confrontations and conflicts really need to happen necessarily. Like, yeah, you're just very gentle souls. And it's really sweet to see that. But there is just like a little need to, or a little reminder that you can trust people and you are here changing things. There is, like, you are leaving a positive imprint on this earth. And to leave whatever job or relationship is kind of creating this confusion around it too. Like, I feel like maybe you don't feel challenged enough at work, or you feel like you're not really doing what, like, to the full realm of what you can do. And it doesn't necessarily mean just go quit your job and like be on your own and not know what to do. But it's just saying, like, start taking the steps to find that other thing. Because I mean, I've never really drawn a card before that says like the path you're on can't offer you anymore. Like, it's just, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You can't really grow here any more than you already have. So it's just really saying, like, you should really trust your intuition on it. I feel like you've known this for a while. You're 100% right. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. This was a quick little reading, but I feel like that was just a really important message that the angels and spirits had for you, about just knowing that, yeah, you are making a difference. You are creating change. Uh, yeah. Yeah, anyways, so that's all I got for you guys. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you around.
Hey guys, nice to see you again. I hope your readings went well. I just wanted to let you know that I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page where I release information once a week about just spiritual information that could help you out. Yeah, and if not, I'd appreciate it if you liked or left a comment on my videos so I know your thoughts, if it resonated, what you'd like more of, what you'd like less of. And that's all I've got to say about that. So, anyways, you guys have a good one, and hopefully see you guys around.
Hello, Pile 3. You chose this pyrite stone. And we're just going to get right into it. Dragon Sword, Deep Diver, Transportation, Wisdom, Celebration, Miracles, give us your cares, Meditation, Shapeshifter, I am different now, break separation, what receiving and what you need to know. Okay. Okay, Pile 3, it's interesting because everything I see here, I'm not getting one past life. Specifically, it's just like a bigger message around what they want you to know about your past lives. And I just feel like it's because there's so many different past lives that this group has experienced that are picking this pile. But the overall theme here is that they're just saying, this lifetime, you have a blank slate. Like, you're here to overcome previous generational cycles or karmic lessons. It's like what I'm getting from that is just that the families that you're born into, you're here to just like help them break their ancestral patterns and karmic cycles. What that could look like is like changing patterns of, I want to say specifically, of divorce or having multiple people leave in family groups. So it could look like maybe like you never met like your uncles or your aunts or your grandparents. Maybe your dad left when you were young or your mother left when you were young. There's a lot of like abandonment cycles that are being broken here, or you came to help break or change the patterns of. It's basically any kind of relationship where it seems like for generations someone in your family has picked an unsupportive spouse, partner, and it's like you're here to help let go of that. Yeah. And there's just like this message here that like your spirit is very playful. It's like dreams big. It wants to like aspire higher than most people do or others around you want to, or especially the people in your family. And you're really just being called to dream bigger than the limiting belief systems that these family groups have put on you, on what you can achieve, what's possible for you, what's possible for a regular person. Yeah, you guys are definitely very different from your family members. Like, you are just here to be the change that they needed. I think for some of you, like the family you incarnated in this lifetime isn't maybe your usual soul group. I think you're just kind of being a helper spirit here and helping them have changes and shifts from these like going back for forever cycles. And yeah, I don't know if it necessarily needs to mean that they've had divorces, but just like choosing, I feel like, emotionally unavailable partners, unsupportive partners, avoidant partners. Yeah, that idea. And some of you are very closely connected to the ascended masters or saints. Like I feel like this meditation card is here because they're saying, like if you listen to your intuition and your guidance, I think you connect very easily with them. And I think you yourself are here to help heal a lot of people, not just like these family cycles. So I definitely believe that your soul has always fought for the side of the light and for what is best in the world, like for the goodness of everything. If that makes any sense. I feel like I'm not saying words very great, but it's like your soul is definitely very connected to the light and love energy. And I feel like this blank slate is because you came to the end of a karmic cycle and you essentially figured it out in the last lifetime. Yeah. Age of discovery. Other relative. Okay. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna pull more of these cards just because it's a past life reading and it's be kind of neat to know just a few of the lives that a few you've had. So don't take them all as like word of mouth, like for sure. So let's just see. Okay. I've got a few here. So be open-minded that I do feel like there's a lot of different people who have had very different lives that are watching this pile, but you had the same like mission now, and that's why it's come up. So I'll just put them down here. So I have builder, construction, carpenter, architect, Holocaust, allied defender, abuse, abuser, secret agent, secret exposed, kept in the dark, evaded capture, exposed, executed, witness, Christian, mystic, hermit, tribe, cult, community, murdered, suicide, witness. It's definitely a theme. War, uprising, reign of terror, gypsy, high priestess, prophet, sorcerer, sorceress, Wicca, alchemist, and evangelical, reverent, mystical, extremist. So the one thing that, and this is a lot of different ones, but the one thing they all have in common is they're all people who are fighting in the most strong way for their beliefs, and it seems like it is wartime related, very survival related, just trying to make it energy. Yeah. It's very interesting. So, could be a lot of possibilities there, but yeah, I think the overall theme is surviving extreme hardship and fighting for and dying for your beliefs in what you think will bring the greater good. Religious devotion. Okay. So what else do you need to know right now? Yeah, so I guess when I read this, I just kept thinking back to the fact that they're saying it doesn't really matter what happened in your past life for you guys because you're really just restarting now. You're a different soul now. You've learned a lot since then. You're very adaptable. You're not stuck right now in a certain specific lesson. And to kind of celebrate how far you've come and let go of the need to know everything about the past. So this group seems really hard to kind of describe or really understand what's going on. And I think maybe that's part of the message here is maybe some of you struggle with knowing who you really are or what you really want. I feel like you're almost so adaptable sometimes in situations that you're like very good at fitting in any group, but at the end of the day it might be a bit tricky to know who you are exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting. I can't tell if like I can't tell if it's just because there's just such a broad group in this pile or if it is just a bit of the uncertainty in who your identity is in of itself. And that could be why you got like a dive deeper card over here. It's more like about going deeper within yourself, knowing who you are, and just taking the time to explore that. And I feel like for some of you, you might have wanted to go traveling or leave where you live. Like maybe some of you still live in the city you grew up in or in a town you grew up in, and you feel like you don't really even know who you are. You're just kind of done the same things for years. I feel like for you, it's like saying, be brave, be bold, like be the dreamer your spirit is, and go on that trip. Like, go explore who you are. You're like, this is like what you are here for in this life, is to just really experience life just as it is, and to get rid of, yeah, these gross attachments and patterns that your family members have had. Yeah, it is quite hard to read this card pile, and it could be even because you as people might have like a really tough guard up or very thick wall. Maybe you don't like taking help from other people or trusting other people. But it is also like there's two cards here saying like you guys really want help with a situation or out of a situation, and the angels are saying like you have to be open to the universe helping you. And what they mean by that is that right now your energy kind of seems a little bit like you've got to do it, you've got to solve the problem, it's all coming from you, but it's not all coming from you. There is everyone else in the world. There is the universe who can bring you the people who can help you, but you just have to be a little more open to that and releasing the need for you to be the one who has the solution or can solve the problem. Yeah, and I feel like it's coming from a perspective that you just can't see any other way to come to a like solution or an end to it, but there is other ways. Like you need the third party perspective. And in this situation, it's the angels in the universe who are like, hey, we see other ways we can help you. You just, yeah, you have to allow that. So they're just saying, like, if you can visualize, like, unburdening yourself and then giving it to the angels to carry and solve for you, and just saying, thank you for doing this for me, they want to step in and help there. And just like a little reminder that the universe is out there to get your back, to help you out, even if you haven't maybe felt like that. They're definitely here now wanting to help you. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a healing lifetime for you. Just see lots of healing for for yourself, and I think for the people around you. Yeah, I kind of think that might be all I got for you guys. It's so interesting. I feel like at first it was pretty easy to read these cards, but then I almost feel like a wall went up and it's really hard to get anything else out of them. The wisdom card, I guess I haven't said anything about that one, so I'll touch base on that quick before I end things here. Um, from my understanding of it, it just means that you guys have had a lot of lifetimes and you've cleared through a lot of karma and a lot of stuff. And I feel like a lot of your lifetimes were about suffering and overcoming that and the harder lessons we learn through challenges. But everything I see here is like you guys really powered through them. Like you you learned a lot. And maybe that could be why this lifetime might need to be a little more gentle. And I feel like for you guys, you're like, it doesn't feel gentle, but um it's like really just like calling you to heal you and your wounds and learn to take care of yourself and not have to take on all the burdens, like understanding the universe and the angels and spirit wants to help you overcome things in this lifetime, that your karma allows it. There's no blocks there. I do think in previous lifetimes there was. Yeah, and then for some of you, it could even be that you're just planning on getting another more education around something or taking a course around something or retreats, something like that. It's just kind of like a little validation saying, hey, like that would be a good idea. You should do that. I think also just with the horse on there, it's saying it's important for you guys to trust in yourselves more and believe in yourself and know that you have what it takes to get through this lifetime. Like you've got this. You've come through some really hard stuff and you're going to be good. You're ready, like built and designed to get through it. You've come through some really low times. And it's just like this lifetime is for you to experience life and just find your passions and have fun, as crazy as that might sound. It is just to have some enjoyment and see the good that the world can offer you, as since you've learned a lot of the other stuff. Yeah. Guess I just also want to touch base here on, you think some of you guys might have had some lifetimes or a lot of lifetimes in water. Like I actually think I like to say seahorses and mermaids and dolphins and all that. Yeah, a lot of lifetimes in the water, and I feel like it is what we would like consider in the not so real realms, like mermaids and fairies and whatever a water fairy would be. Like, yeah, just I think that is where I think that might even be where your soul kind of comes from, is from there. Uh, and then a lot of the hardships you faced, I think, came when you came onto like the human earth dimension. I don't really know how that all that ties in, but I almost wonder if the call for you to find your joy again is to return back to like that playful energy, because when I think of mermaids, I think of beings who have the most self-love, and fairies are the ones who are like capable of having the most fun and not worrying about things or taking life too serious. So I feel like this lifetime you're being really called to find that again within yourself and within your soul, and just remind it that that's where you came from and that's what you're capable of getting back to.
Hey guys, nice to see you again. I hope your readings went well. I just wanted to let you know that I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. where I release information once a week about just spiritual information that could help you out. Yeah, and if not, I'd appreciate it if you liked or left a comment on my videos so I know your thoughts, if it resonated, what you'd like more of, what you'd like less of. And that's all I've got to say about that. So, anyways, you guys have a good one, and hopefully see you guys around.
Okay, pile 4. You guys chose the shamanic dream crystal, and I'm really interested to see what you guys got in your pile just based off of choosing this crystal alone. I feel like you're gonna be very spiritual beings or something like that. But anyways, let's see. The impression that you guys have really lived the full circle life around things. Like right away I see like Native American medicine man, and that stood out to me. And I think like being taken away from your community, uh either through like I don't know if it's slavery would be the right word, or just with all like that the issues there was with the Aboriginal communities and religious and like the queen. And it's so interesting because it's like there's that lifetime, and then I can see on it where I think you yourself took another lifetime where you were the missionary going in and being with these people. And then also, just to make things even more interesting, I think you also had a lifetime where you were in one of the royal families as a soul. And it's very interesting. And it's funny to see like the lost compass, getting back to your integrity. I almost feel like your original life was this Native American medicine person, like they're sorry, I'm something stuck in my throat. um like coming from a very pure spiritual path and a clear sight, and then because your soul wanted to understand where these people came from, why they were the way they were, it reincarnated in the people that were basically harming you in your communities. And I think it kind of like in some ways got your soul a little confused. like uh I just kind of see that you did successfully get all these different viewpoints, and I think you were trying to be as good and of a light worker in these um different lifetimes. But I feel like specifically in the royal family one, or the royalty one, I think that there is so much corruption around you that it was really damaging for your soul. Like it just didn't sit right with you. I feel like you went from the soul that was used to peace and like this kindness in the world. And I honestly, like, I almost get thinking about like the Boleyn sisters or something, where you're like, you just didn't do something quite right and you got your head chopped off for being different. Like some weird energy around that. And then with the monk or nun energy, I feel like, I think it will be relief to you guys, but I don't feel like there was any kind of like inappropriate behavior there or any pain. I actually feel like you were truly like quite a peaceful, all around accepting missionary who came over and truly, like, could I, for all I from what I've heard, could be one of the few people who actually were accepting and willing to understand the Aboriginal culture and like what they believed at the time, give them like this religion that was going to save them, but doing so in the most respectful of their ways. I don't feel, funny enough, like this lifetime uh, had too much of a negative impact on your soul on a level. I feel like it's just in this mix to say, like, you really got the rundown of like what everyone was going through and experiencing. Like your soul was very curious and intrigued to know why these people were doing what they were doing and why they were like that. Um, yeah, definitely some issues around the royal family vibe, though. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like looking. So I do think like what some of your lessons are in this lifetime is to find what makes you happy, and it's almost like say finding your passion for life again and expressing yourself in creative ways. I feel like for some of you that could look like dancing or painting. Um, Yeah, I feel like you're very uncomfortable with like being in the feminine energy in this lifetime. And it doesn't mean you have to be a female. It could just mean that you feel very exposed when you are being open and honest with your emotions and how you're feeling. And I'm willing to bet that the root cause of this came from this royalty lifetime. Because this one feels okay, like the Native American, like that it doesn't feel okay in the fact that I feel like you were very affected negatively by, like, I want to say like the English specifically, and the missionaries coming in, and that was an issue. uh but as your people within themselves, I feel like there was support and peace. It was until this group came in that it kind of ruined that. And yeah, so I think the reason why the past life blocks are coming up is to know that your soul does know the peaceful way and the happy way and the way to just be almost of like a higher consciousness, of like a calmer state. And it's just trying to get back there and find that harmony in life again after that past life. And yeah, so things you could do to support that would be oh, it's so funny. I keep looking at this card and I'm like, oh, you guys just feel so vulnerable and naked when you have to do anything around it. So I would say maybe just start with like some release writing, because with stuff like that, you just write down how you're feeling, and you just let it flow, and then you rip it up after, because I feel like you guys really don't want your secrets getting out, and that's really energy that's not really justified in this lifetime. Um, a lot of that fear is coming from this past one. And I think it made you really scared to trust your intuition. And it's safe to do that in this one. Your intuition is usually pretty bang on from what I can see here. That being said, I think some of you might be having some issues with food or chemicals. Like I want to say like maybe you're using like the wrong detergent on your clothes or something. Like maybe you're getting rashes or weird health issues. Um, and it's just saying like you could just be very sensitive to energies, and harsh chemicals aren't going to sit well with you energetically. Um, and just like try to pay attention to that. If you've noticed you've had like weird reactions to things, it could be something like, it definitely could be food, but I think for you guys it could be a chemical in your life. Maybe like Febreze or even like a toilet cleaner or something. Like those are very harsh chemicals. They do have alternatives now. They are a little more pricey, but I think it's worth it. I don't know why I feel like you guys are being kind of affected strongly by something like that. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, so it does say slave, child. It's actually, you have 2 child cards. Viking age. You know, this mother card seems very interesting. I also can't help but wonder if there was like a strong mother wounding in one of these past lives, and what would that look like here? I think you might have picked like a mother in this lifetime that was emotionally unavailable, who just, I almost feel like maybe she almost even had postpartum depression after having a baby, but it just didn't go away for a long time. Um, I think that also could be playing into this discomfort with the feminine energy and having that within yourself and acknowledging it. Yeah, there's a lot of clearing work here. It's like there's like, I don't know if it's just like a call for you to do release writing and things like that that will clear um, kind of suppressed energies, or if you guys are very energetically sensitive, I would suggest maybe saging your home. There's definitely like something around clearing the energies around you. I can't quite tell what it's about. It could just be general reading vibes, but good rule of thumb is if it resonates with you at all, please sage your homes or yourselves, because I just feel like there's something there, probably with the sensitive to energies, and it seems like your soul does have a lot of psychic abilities that would attract in some funky vibes every now and then. All you gotta do is sage it to get rid of it. Um, yeah, that's just a little side note there for some of you to do that. I do keep noticing there's a lot of cards around you needing your own personal healing. Like you guys might have a disease or an illness. Right now, I mean, if you don't have one, don't think you're going to get one or anything. There's just, for some people here, there is like a call or a want that you have to get help with this. And that could also be why they're talking about allergens, maybe just even watching those things because they might be putting extra stress on your body. This card here is all about wellness, and it like reminds you that the disease is real, the sickness is real, the what you're feeling is real, but there's also a very real ability to heal yourself, and that sometimes we get so caught up in like the doctor giving us a diagnosis or a name to focus on, and we forget that it is possible to heal our bodies. Like we if you don't get too focused on everything that's wrong, then we can kind of reconnect with the healing energies of the universe to make things better. And it doesn't always mean that it's in our destinies to have it fully healed, but often it's our souls that get more stuck on the title of it all. I don't really know if that makes sense to you all, but yeah, they're saying something around that it's like there is a healing possibility for you. Um, and it's not about ignoring what you're going through, but it's about shifting the focus a little bit. Not on like, I can't do this, I can't do that, but it's more like focusing more on like what you want to be able to do, and then taking steps to get there versus thinking just about what you can't do anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but there's something around that. And then there is like this, the inner child, work here. Nobody likes hearing that. Um, but it's saying you may have lost connection a little bit with your inner child. Um, and what that could look like is, it's like meaning you've like lost connection with just the simplicity of feeling joy, the sense of curiosity about the world, seeing things without judgment. It's like seeing things before we've gone through life and kind of gotten a bias around how everything is or what things mean. Yeah, it's just kind of like saying, don't forget just to observe sometimes. You don't need to overanalyze it. Sometimes life is just about experiencing things and not overthinking them. Yeah, in this lifetime, though, you're definitely called to have like a higher spiritual growth. Like, you are definitely going to be very aware of things, or if you're not, you're going to find yourself on that path and trusting your intuition. Right now, though, you're definitely in a stage where you need to really take time to find your own joy and passion for life, though. It's it's like the first step that they want you to work on right now. um hmm Yeah, and I do find it a bit interesting that there is this thing here where it says, it's time for you to take back your power, listen to your intuition, desires, and feelings. So it's just like a little reminder to take control of your life and take a stand for yourself. I think that's going to be in a lot of different situations for depending on who's watching this. Or some might think it could be with your health, and maybe just, I feel like maybe there's like some doctors or someone that have kind of like been like, okay, that's nice, well, this is what it is, and they're not really hearing you on it. I think for some of you it could just be partnerships or um, parents even, that maybe kind of think they know best, but it's not true. No one knows best for you other than you. And I feel like there is this weird dynamic between you and your mother where it's almost like I just really get a strong vibe of like she's almost like maybe she's not currently, but at some point when you were a child, I think she was like very depressed, very distant, and I think on a conscious in this life, physical life, she couldn't ever admit that. But I feel like on a spiritual level, she's very aware of the fact that she didn't do as good of a job as she wanted to. Um, and I just don't think she has it within her to say that to you in this physical realm. Like, it's too hard for her to say that out loud and admit it, but she is aware of it on like a soul level, that she just wasn't there for you as much as she thought she should be or wanted to be. And it's just like literally see like it's been funny how I place these cards, like this little child who's so excited for life and this mother who's like looking the opposite direction away from it. Yeah, it's tough. There's definitely this acknowledgement though that she knew she should have done better and she wanted to do better because you did deserve it. It doesn't excuse what she did, but it's like on some level, hopefully that can help bring a little bit of peace, that she recognizes that, on a spiritual level, which just means, if you're like so horrified of being a bad person and you've done something that's hurt your child, saying it out loud is probably going to be darn near impossible unless you're very, very accountable and self-aware, which is a hard thing to ask for someone who I feel like is this personality type. Yeah, I just a few ending messages. It's really just saying this is a time for you to get back to yourself and come back to what makes you happy. Listen to your intuition. Take action on standing up for yourself and taking back your own power. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys. It's a very interesting pile, but when it's a general reading, it's pretty hard to go super deep into it because there's just too many different energies. But yeah, you guys definitely have a lot going on right now. But you're not alone. It's definitely a thing. Like the angels are saying, like to ask for their help with things and with your health because they're here and they're really wanting to help you with that. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good day and that you got some messages that, at the very least, help make you feel a little bit better. And I'll see you around.
Hey guys, nice to see you again. I hope your readings went well. I just wanted to let you know that I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page where I release information once a week about just spiritual information that could help you out. Yeah, and if not, I'd appreciate it if you liked or left a comment on my videos so I know your thoughts, if it resonated, what you'd like more of, what you'd like less of. And that's all I've got to say about that. So anyways, you guys have a good one, and hopefully see you guys around.